I love it. Now we just, if we only had lightsaber sounds or something. Oh wait, we do. So I think we'll try something a little bit different with this Maul. I'm thinking that maybe we ink in his face tattoos, but then like all the parts that would normally be red, we'll just go with like the pencil outline on those, and let the marker kind of butt up against the pencils. That should make kind of a cool look, I think. At last, we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last, we'll have our revenge. I can't do the Sam Witwer voice, but there we go. Well played, Evan. Meanwhile, Pinterest is like, oh, my ears! But yeah, if you guys missed that Ferris Bueller episode of Reunited Apart, check that one out. Like, that one and the Ghostbusters were my two favorites. And they do, at the end, they do like a 5-minute montage of like their love letter to John Hughes with a bunch of actors from a bunch of different John Hughes films. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I think you'll dig it. I think so. We haven't seen Monique yet today. Should we be concerned? I think we should. She's usually in here. Now, I know I said it earlier, but a few of you weren't here yet, so don't forget, if you're subscribed through Prime, you'll need to manually renew your subscription. And again, it won't cost you anything to subscribe to this channel through Prime, but you do have to manually renew the subscription. So don't forget, it's very important. Helps me keep the lights on, keep all this artwork flowing, keep the art supplies coming. All that good stuff. And then yeah, Thursday or Friday we'll do the drawing, and then we'll also have I'll finally have the form made for those of you that want the physical rewards and stuff. So I was hoping to have it all done today, but yesterday was a doozy. We had our Keyword School class yesterday, and I think 3 different Zoom meetings. So it just kind of felt like you get one Zoom meeting done and you're like, okay, you have 20 minutes until the next one. Try to be productive for 20 minutes. You know, you're just like, ugh. Like, what am I going to get done? So yeah, yesterday was crazy, but that's all right. Hopefully crazy leads to like more good stuff. We'll see. Oh, hey you guys, I didn't even mention it yet, but this is the perfect time. I will probably do my first nighttime stream tonight. So I'm going to try to get my Tiki project kicked off tonight. I'm thinking maybe around 7 p.m. my time. So if you're around, come hang out. It'll probably be, it'd be different art than comic book stuff and Star Wars, but might bust out a Tiki shirt. Might, yeah, 7 p.m. Pacific. So I know that will be too late for some of you, but I've been meaning to try a nighttime stream anyway, and this is kind of a good time for me. Christy's got tennis tonight, so it's a good time for me to try one. So I'll probably bust out a Tiki shirt, maybe make some sort of tropical cocktail, or at least an attempt. And we'll kick off our little Tiki project. I haven't counted the number of these pieces that I want to do, so we'll see how the first couple go, but You know, we'll probably work some of them into the daytime streams too, but it'd be nice to see some familiar faces tonight if possible. All right, let's switch to some inks, and then let's see if we can do like a hybrid pencil ink kind of thing here. You guys know me, I just make this stuff up as I go, so there's just no hard, fast rules. I'm just like, what might look good on this one? Okay, I will try that. And I'm hoping to be able to, if this Tiki project gets off to a good start over the next couple weeks, Quinch Press has been whispering in my ear about doing a Tiki mug design. And I actually have a couple of ideas, so I just need to sit down in the sketchbook and just start working on them. So hopefully I'll be able to do like a Tiki mug design and maybe take that to like a Kickstarter or Indiegogo or something. So that's kind of the thought process. I've done a couple of Kickstarters in the past, but they've all been related to art instruction books or like graphic novels. So doing like a mug would be something totally different. So I need to do a little bit more research into the fulfillment side of things, because the shipping and handling on mugs, while not necessarily expensive, you know, they're fragile. So I make sure I know exactly what it would cost me, so I don't do something stupid, you know. Evan says that he heard a new term from me yesterday. Woohoo! What was a woo woo? Oh, woo woo. Oh, that's one of Christy's terms. But yes. So I will give an example. One of our friends' wives believes in woo-woo stuff like essential oils and crystals. That would be an example of the word woo-woo used in a sentence. But yeah, that originally, I heard that from Christy originally. But she's originally born in the country, like the real country. And so she has lots of interesting colloquialisms that I had never heard until I met her. And that's one of them. And I like it. It's very endearing. I like when she says woo-woo. And it's a nice way to make fun of people too. You can be like, you know, like, she believes in that, or she like is woo-woo. You know, that kind of stuff. It's like when you go to Sedona and everyone's talking about their healing vortexes and stuff, and you're like, you're going hiking, or you're like, you know, going woo-woo hiking. Or you could even just say, oh, that guy, he's a little woo-woo, you know? So it's a nice all-purpose term. Evan says lol. Well, you know, Christy and I each have our sense of humors, and they tend to be quite complementary to one another. So, you guys have to let me know now that we're caught up on Harry Potter. I think we're going to try the new Perry Mason show Quench Press, did you say that you've already seen one of those episodes or not? We really like stuff that's set in the past, so we're thinking about trying that one out. And just as a distraction, we've been watching Holy Moly, which is really silly and goofy, but sometimes that's what you need. Just let your brain just all explode and watch something goofy. Speaking of goofy, I saw the trailer for the Eurovision movie, but I haven't watched it. I'm sure I will some night just for something to do, but I haven't seen it yet. Oh, Quench Press says he's not seen the new Perry Mason yet. Okay. Well, I saw the trailer for it. It looks to be pretty cool, so we'll see. I tend to like detective stuff, and I tend to like all the kind of like period set in the past kind of stuff, so it kind of looks like something I would dig. Oh, and I saw that the Scoob movie is on HBO Max now, so I'm sure I'll watch that because I didn't pay to watch it originally. So now that it's included, I'll watch it because I like Scooby-Doo. I want to see what they did with it. I heard it was a good take on the property. I mean, I really heard that much. Like, I don't know tons of people who saw it, but the few snippets that I read online, people seem to like it. Oh, Darth Maul. Isn't it weird how we have like no Darth Mauls, then we have like 2 or 3 in a row? I think that's kind of funny. I'm really surprised we haven't had more Disney stuff recently. But it seems to kind of come and go in cycles, you know. Oh, thanks for the follow, Apple Pie 33. Appreciate it. Welcome to our channel. Feel free to hop on the chat and let us know how you're doing while I decline this phone call from Spam Risk, Phoenix, Arizona. Because I would totally answer a call from Spam Risk. Never. I'm like, no, I don't need new windows. Or whatever it is you're selling. I don't need it. Quench Press says, I was watching that last night, but started late and fell asleep halfway through. It's really good. I'm not on board with all of the modernizations on the Scoob movie. Okay, well that's good to know. I'll be watching it sooner than later, I'm sure. But not tonight. Tonight's going to be Tiki Tuesday. I'm going to be right back here on Twitch. Drawing, painting, doing something Tiki related. It's going to be fun. And you guys believe it's almost July? I'm kind of having a little freak out about that. I really am. I'm having just a little bit of a freak out. I mean, we started this channel in late March, not knowing if it was going to go for more than just, 1 month. And now it's going to be July. It's crazy. It's insane, I tell you. But yeah, I'll check out the Scoob movie for sure. I want to see that. That looks good. I was talking to another person who works in comics, and he was saying his daughter is all slated to go to college in August, and I guess they haven't announced that the campus is or isn't going to be open yet. So I was kind of shocked by that. I kind of assumed that they had all decided to stay closed a little bit longer, but I guess not. So he was pretty concerned for his daughter. I think it's going to be her first year at college. And I didn't want to scare him, so I didn't tell him any of my college stories, but I was like, oh, I don't know that I would have been very good at social distancing at college at that age, you know? I mean, too many parties and nights out to the bars and all that stuff, so. Although I'm told these Gen Z kids are a little better behaved than I was, so maybe he's got nothing to worry about. What do I know? I mean, I'm not saying they're all squares, but just maybe things were wilder before. That's all. A little bit wilder, a little bit crazier. I know I mentioned in the beginning, but I wanted to explain why I was talking about my YouTube channel. And I don't know why, but like since I started this Twitch stream, like 500 people have followed my personal YouTube where I don't post anything. And so trying to remind people that, especially some people have been asking me on social media and stuff, to go to Octopolis YouTube, which is where I actually post all the videos that we record here. But there's so many Brian Millers, I can't imagine that all of those followers are from Twitch. I'm sure some of those are just people looking for other Brian Miller stuff, because there's just, you know, I think when I first joined Facebook, there was already like 500,000 Brian Millers on there, it said. So I'm sure there's millions by now. It's one of the reasons I don't really use my name on much. I try to do everything, comic books under Hi-Fi and art under Octopolis, because, you know, like if you search Brian Miller Star Wars, you're going to find me, and you're going to find a guy at Lucasfilm who's a producer, and you're going to find, you know, a writer and something else. And it's no good. It's just the most generic name. So that's why I always tell everybody, I'm just like, just look under Octopolis, you'll find me. Much easier that way. So hopefully that's what people will do. We shall see. We shall see how it goes. Apple Pie says, try having Farmer for your last name. Yeah, I could see that one. I'm sure there's lots of farmers. I'm sure that's like me, you probably get a lot of weird mail and phone calls and stuff, and you're like, no, it's not me. No, quit wasting my time. Hey, thanks for the cheer, Evan. Appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, oh, the Ferris Bueller thing was reminding me, though, let me know if you have a favorite John Hughes film or a favorite, like, 80s movie. Oh, thank you, Evan. I need that hydrate. Thank you, man. Cheers to you. Drinking the La Croix Limoncello today. Oh, thanks for the posture check too. Not quite as hunched over as when I paint, but it definitely makes a difference. Nice to crack that back a couple times during the stream. Keep things loosened up. Mentally, physically, spiritually, some other ways. But yeah, let me know what John Hughes films you guys like. I'm actually quite fond of like Uncle Buck and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I think I especially think Uncle Buck is like super underrated. The storytelling is like really top notch, and the characterizations are really good. And, you know, after dealing with like more popular teen kind of things, you know, to have him dive in and deal with like a, you know, I mean, we called it alternative back then, but I guess now you call it goth or emo or whatever, you know. I thought he did a really good job. Oh, Evan says he's hooked on those. On the La Croix. Those are pretty good. Another artist got me into those like a decade ago. And I try not to drink real soda. Now, occasionally I slip up, but I try not to drink sugared or sweetened, I should say. Like, even if it's diet, right? Because that's a sweetener in it. And what I like about these is they don't have any sweetener at all, and no calories. It's just bubble water and a little bit of flavor. So, you know, theoretically, no crazy chemicals or sugar or anything like that. So, I like them. I'm glad. I mean, I'm not glad you're addicted, but you know, if you're gonna drink something, it's better for you than Mountain Dew. So, because I used to sit and color comics, and I'd have, you know, one hand coloring and the other hand was either working a Mountain Dew or in a, you know, in a bowl of M&Ms or something. And when you sit at a desk all day, you just can't do that. And I had to really force myself to break those bad habits. I had about 3 or 4 friends in the industry all get diabetes the same year. And I took a look in the mirror and I was like, well, I am going to be next if I don't make some lifestyle changes. So that's when, I mean, you can't tell to look at me now because of the COVID-19 plus that I'm dealing with, but you know, I lost over 100 pounds and got a lot healthier. So even with COVID, when I'm not living as healthy of a life because I'm not as active as I was, I'm still trying to stay away from soda and that kind of stuff. So hopefully I can start to bounce back now that Christy's playing tennis again, and she's just been making all this food, and, which I appreciate, don't get me wrong, I really do, but it'll be nice to not have like a full like 7-course meal every night, you know. Evan says that his favorite movie from the 80s is The Karate Kid. That's a good one. That's a really good one. And I noticed in one of your profile pictures you've got on like some karate gear, so that must have hit home for you. Yeah, Karate Kid, that was a huge movie. It was a really big one. Oh, did the stream like hiccup there just for a second? I don't think it froze, but I thought I saw it hiccup. Hopefully not too bad. Yeah, I was thinking watching the Mandalorian Disney Plus gallery about the Mandalorian. I'd love to see Kathleen Kennedy do a show like that about all the Indiana Jones films, because you know she was involved in all of those with Lucas and Spielberg as a producer. And even if Lucas and Spielberg aren't forthcoming or aren't chatty, I'm sure they could get in, just like on The Mandalorian, they could get in second unit directors and stunt people and prop makers and all kinds of people from those Indiana Jones films to just come in and, you know, do all that behind the scenes stuff. Would be really cool. And it's part of Kathleen's legacy. So, you know, you think that she would be on board for something like that. Quinch Press says, for John Hughes, Ferris Bueller, but I also love The Breakfast Club. Yes. 16 Candles, pretty good. Some Kind of Wonderful, yes. And Pretty in Pink, of course, Pretty in Pink. You can't go wrong. I mean, you got Ducky and Annie Potts. Yeah. Faux Show, that is the list. 80s as a whole would be Princess Bride, as it's my all-time favorite. I can see that. I think that's a lot of people's favorite. And did you guys see that Carl Reiner died? That's kind of sad. Speaking of Princess Bride, is it Carl or Rod that's in the film? I don't remember now, but or that directed it, but yeah, Carl passed away. I think he said he was 90, 92, 98, something like that. So yeah, that was crazy. You know, talk about one of those like legendary guys. He created the Dick Van Dyke Show, and he worked with Mel Brooks on a lot of his early stuff, and directed a couple of really good comedies. I can't think of all of them right now, but what, The Jerk and a couple of others. So yeah, it's quite a shock. I mean, obviously he's had a full life, but I don't think anybody was expecting it. I don't think he was like, you know, in the hospital or anything. So I'm just taking my time with this black marker, trying to get a really nice fill. Nothing upsets me more than when I look back at one of these sketches and it doesn't look like or it looks a little streaky, so try to fill it in really good. And for those of you guys that watched the Godzilla one where I painted in the black, let me know if you want to see more of that kind of stuff, you know? I've got a couple of painted pieces coming up. And I'm just trying to, like I always say, just trying to find my way through this stuff of what works best for the stream. I think I want to experiment with just some normal painting that I'm already comfortable with, but I really want to experiment with some glazing techniques and stuff. So maybe where I would do like a grayscale painting, and then maybe like the next stream come back and start glazing the color on it, because it would have to like dry fully before I could apply color. But even if it was just a one-time experiment, I think that would be a fun one to try if we had like the right character or the right piece to do it with. I know that's how Alex Ross, or I don't know how Alex Ross does his paintings, but I know that that's his basic approach, you know, is he does a grayscale underpainting and then glazes the color over it. And I don't know, when I was in art school and art classes and stuff, that they never really taught us that technique. We just did normal oil painting, just regular where you're painting with color, and you know, normal drawing and stuff, but we didn't do anything with like underpaintings and stuff. And I know that's like a more, maybe it was a popular technique in the past and then it's more popular again now, but when I was going to school it was not mentioned at all. So I'd like to kind of teach myself, or at least try one to see what it looks like. I mean, maybe I have to try a couple to get it right, who knows. But just let me know if you guys are interested in that or not. But we definitely have some fun sketches coming up. We've got one with Hulk and Wolverine that I think is going to be fun. And we've got Venom. It's going to be color. And a couple other fun ones. I know we've got another one coming up for Evan. He said it's for his daughter, so that'll be fun. That'll be good. All right, I think that's going to be most of our solid black areas on Maul. got these little, at the base of his horns, there's always these little black, he's got like a black and red like little trim lines. So try to put those in the black. There we go. He's looking pretty tough. He's looking pretty Darth Maul-y. Is Darth Maul the drug you do after Death Sticks? I was in Les Dudas's honor. Alright, so let's go, I think, fairly darkish. So I'm going to do like mostly shadow on the left side. So let's see what we can get going here. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think that'll be about the right contrast, I hope. I was kind of hoping this would be a color one, but he decided on grayscale, which is fine, totally fine. But I admit I like doing the color ones. And truthfully, I just need more practice. I hadn't done any real painting in years, so it's kind of, in a way, it's like riding a bike. I mean, you don't forget how to do it, but the finesse goes away. And so I think it takes time to get the nuance and everything back, you know. Or at least for me it does. It takes time. It's kind of like you have to warm up, you know, you gotta do a couple of pieces to get warmed up. We were talking about 80s movies. I think Breakfast Club really made a big impression on me. I've said it before, but you know, I grew up in a house that was super religious, and I couldn't watch TV or listen to radio or any of that kind of stuff unless it was Christian or public. And so I think I saw Breakfast Club, I want to say like at like a school or after school function. I don't know how old I was, but because of my upbringing, I would have thought I was way too young to see the film. But it was clear that all the other kids watching the film had already seen it. And so it felt like I was getting away with something, you know. It felt like I was doing something I wasn't supposed to do, you know, because it had curse words in it, and it had, you know, sexual connotations and smoking and drinking and whatever. So it made a big impression on me, but it let me understand that, you know, people were people, and that they're imperfect, and that they have problems, and all that kind of stuff. That I was just sort of originally led to believe that, you know, people were either pious or they were evil, you know, and it kind of showed all different sort of shades of gray of people, which I thought was nice. Kind of opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. Weird Science in the 80s. Yeah, Weird Science was a fun one. I don't know if you could make that movie now, but Christy was talking about that the other night. There was some TV show, and it wasn't even from the 80s. It was something from like the 90s or the early 2000s or something. And she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how sexually suggestive this show was. It was on like broadcast TV back in the day, and blah blah." And I was like, "Well, yeah, times have changed." Weird Science. you know, I think there was so much new stuff coming out in the 80s. You know, there was personal computers, and there was the space shuttle, and all this tech from Japan that was coming over. There was just all this stuff that our parents and grandparents didn't have, and it felt so foreign to them, but it came so naturally to us because we just had this like thirst and desire to like absorb all this stuff, you know. And I think that when you had a film like a War Games or a Weird Science or something like that, that sort of, you know, Goonies, whatever, showed kids having the ability to sort of outsmart or keep up with adults with this tech and stuff, it really really made an impression, you know. It was like, hey, you know, the future is yours, young people. Oh, Darth Maul, you're so badass. Why didn't the Emperor appreciate your badassness? I was thinking about some of the 80s cartoons, like Disney had the Black Cauldron, which I know flopped, but at the time it just seemed so insanely crazy for a cartoon. I think it was like the most expensive cartoon ever made at that point. And I remember I forced my dad to take me like opening night to see it. And he was so mad because the tickets cost double to see Black Cauldron. And I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about it. But apparently Disney had spent so much money on the film that when it launched, they just told the theaters to charge double. Or at least our theater was. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Starting to look like Darth Maul. Much badassness. Very force. Quinch Press says, I have a long meeting about to start. Volume going down. I'll be watching. Always watching. That's not creepy. No, thank you, Quinch Press. I'm always watching. Thank you, Quinch Press. And don't forget about Tiki Time tonight. It will be fun. Unless I drink too much, and then it might not be fun, but we'll make it fun. Wonder if I can get away with playing any tiki music, or if that'll trip up the powers that be. I have to find some like sound-alikes. Some like YouTube certified. What do you guys think? Kind of digging this Maul. I think these dark shadows are working on him. Kind of feeling it. What do we do on this one? Was this 60 or was this darker than 60? No. Let's do like a little, like a shadow off of this horn. I think. Something like that. Hey Evan, if I didn't answer the question the first time, maybe I'm not going to answer it the second time either. Let's just say that a lot of people that we work with already have jobs in the industry or in other industries and have worked with Christy and I for a long time. And so when they need additional income and don't know where to go, they come to us. Not the answer you're looking for, but it's the answer I can give. But there's a reason it says hi-fi on all the books. Because not everybody wants their name in the comics. Matter of fact, you would probably be surprised by the number of people who work in comics under pen names because they have some other gig and they don't want people to know that they work in comics. Not that they're ashamed that they work in comics, but because they would lose or be, what's the right word? There would be some sort of bad thing happen to them at their other gig. Evan's like, gotcha. It's kind of like all the people that are like playing orchestras, but maybe they also play at like a jazz bar on the weekends or something like that, you know? It's like that kind of thing. But you know, some of our previous hi-fi people, they've gone on to, some have become screenwriters for TV and films. One of them was or currently still is, one of the art directors for the Borderlands video game. One of them did some fashion related stuff for a while and still works with us. So there's a lot of reasons, but that gives you an idea probably. All right, guys, I think that's got it. I think that's our Darth Maul today. Kind of happy with that. So let's see. Oh, what do we do? There were some cheers, so let's watch the credits so we can see Evan's name, and then we'll see about maybe rating a channel today. I think that'll be fun. Give this one a signature.